The critical volatility signal that fired off on Tuesday, August 27th, has performed its standard deviation, and the asset could now be ready for its higher probability upside move. With today's upside pump, statistics may very well actually play the win in this case. Welcome back to the channel on this Money Monday. This is ARCa, and let's dive into FNGR. Let's kill them, team. What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, do everything necessary to get this thing to live long, thrive, and survive. Let's go ahead and take a look at FNGR here on the bi-daily time frame. And what we're doing here is identifying a very, very massive psychological reason why this asset can move towards the upside. Take a look at this shoulder here. Bottom head and right hand shoulder marking off this ridiculously sized bi-daily herpy derpy, right? A massive herple derple here, right? For you, inverse head and shoulder. Just that is right. I don't mean to fuck around with you guys that hard, but it's all good. So this is a bullish formation, right? It is indicating a continuation to the upside. So why don't we go ahead and identify what that probability could be, right? It's going to be a little bit of a challenge here to determine where exactly this shoulder line could be. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and just use a traditional method here, and we're going to use the line just in a horizontal fashion, right? Something like this here, just to match all of the top sides, right? Straight across. That should be it right there. Let's go ahead and identify the top side price objective by taking a trend line from that neckline all the way to the bottom side and lowest part of the inverse head and shoulders head, right? So now we apply this trend line to the center of that shoulder, and this is the target that we would be getting, right? So very interesting that this inverse head and shoulders would be taking us to its prior high of $3.14. Let's just take a look at that and validate that upside here on the OHLC valuations of your chart, right? That's the open, high, low, close. So the high here, H, is $3.18. Target here, $3.14, completely confluent and very nice. Let's go ahead and take an inverse fib and validate that potential upside too. Now the way I'm going to do this is actually by a shorter term time frame. I'm going to be using either this last or the prior bar on the bi-daily. Actually, this would be the prior bar now. So it closed. Actually, I can use the top end of that and the top end of that take profit, and let's see what it does for us, right? So very interesting here. We are being taken right in between the 2-spot 272 and the 2-spot 618 at the golden mean. I love it. That tells us that we have an absolute range here. We definitely have resistance right up here, and that target there is, curiously enough, a high of $3.14, exactly where our inflection would be of the inverse head and shoulder. So very, very, very nice for us to see some confluent targets like that. So if I were to put here a resistance range, I would actually match it to this candle here. And let's just look historically to see if there's any other reason why it wouldn't reach that 314. In fact, there is. There is actually this bottom side of this bi-daily gap here, right? So if there's anything else like that of that nature, we have to take it into account, right? So in this case, yeah, I'm going to take this into account, the bottom side of this gap here. So that's going to be about let's see, about $3 flat, and our top end could very well be, actually, I'm just going to mark it off at that 314 top, right? Mind your 50% target and your 50% as you extend the price. Damn it, right? Exactly at that 2-spot 272 at 309. In fact, it's 308. So yeah, everything looks to be pretty damn good. Now, please remember that this asset is moving at about 18 cents on an average true range. That means that it's moving 18 cents per day, right? Up or down any day that it's publicly traded. So that's important to notice here, right? So one thing that I would mention here is that you can see that the pullback is already happening, right? So intraday, we closed at $2.33, and price action is currently sitting at $2.27 in the post market, right? And that's for a very specific reason, right? We have the golden pocket located right about here, and that is identified as the 214 to 224 zone, which is very interestingly enough, the neckline of the inverse head and shoulders, right? So yeah, it looks like we got a back test here, either the 50% retrace to the $2.19 zone or the $2.24 zone, aka 227 of the inverse head and shoulders, right? So I do think that there could be, literally could be a 50% prior bar retrace, which is happening right now, right on that bi-daily time frame, and it's looking okay. All right, team, I do think that the upside here is of bigger probabilities, and I will now take you to the statistical side of the analysis where we have the probabilities of an upside here, measuring the average upside thrust using historical volatility versus stochastic momentum. We have also calculated the standard deviations in the upper and lower bounds of all first, second, and third standard deviations to give us the higher probability targets, right? Now, the reason I know this here, team, is because I am a trading instructor. Please go ahead and get in touch with me at this email here, because the beginners charting and trading mentorship program will be starting in about a week and a half. And I want to make sure that you get your butts in there immediately, right? So there's going to be ArcMastersCourse at gmail.com. So reach out to me. I will pass you the syllabus. I'll pass you the disclaimer, whatever else, right, you guys? So I want to just make sure that I can build bigger and better traders every single day. Stop making excuses and make a better portfolio out of your account, right? So very good stuff here, team. Let's go ahead and continue on with the analysis. This is going to be the statistical side. Again, we're using historical volatility versus stochastic momentum, right? Now, the criteria here is that anytime that volatility has expanded from the 15% of critical contraction, right? So volatility represented by this histogram, the little light bulbs, right? And the moving average itself is the moving average for the volatility component. So now I want you to go ahead and see that the signal fired off right about here. My criteria is that I need the volatility component, the light bulbs, right, and the moving average to be postured towards the upside and beyond the 15%. That is a critical rule here and a critical criteria that I will follow in order for me to have the correct results. Now, if we look historically, this is the back test here. These are all the samples, and now this is the data set that came out of that sample gathering, right? So let's just go ahead and take a look at those probabilities. Now, please remember, that the firing of the signal officially happened. I'm going to go ahead and just display it here for you, right? It's actually August 27th, like we mentioned in the introduction of this video. And that happened at the upper bound of this candle here at the opening of this bi-daily, which is, let's see, it's hard to see it on the OHLC when it's like that, right? It's right up in here, the O for opening, $2.55, which is why I have these measured targets here, right? So now let's go ahead and go over that criteria. So total iteration count was 12, historically speaking, throughout the entire trading history of the bi-daily asset of FNGR, right? So that gives us 8 iterations guessed correctly towards that upside, giving us an upside accuracy of about 66.67%, with an average upside thrust when that criteria is met of a massive 133.09% move to that upside. Now, the standard deviation is 146.69%, which is very interesting because if we do add that to the deviating price, that would actually leave us to a negative value of $1.16 minus 116. So that's actually it's actually unusable, right? So we're not going to use the standard deviation on this, but the standard deviation appears to have already finished. And the firing of the signal August 27th with trading days has been about 14 trading days out of the 44 average to meet the upside of this signal. Very interesting that we're starting to get the upside now, right? Very cool. Now, if we were to combat or to succeed the top side of the 133.09%, which, by the way, that target would be somewhere up here of around $5.94. I have calculated also the upper bounds of the first, second, and third standard deviations to give us those probabilities as well, right? So the upper bound of the first standard deviation would take us to roughly around here. Guys, I'm not going to, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stop talking about these targets here because let's just get to the freaking first. Let's get to $3, yeah? And then we can go ahead and talk about the probabilities with statistics leading us to like $165 million over there, right? So let's just go ahead and kind of put that dormant for now, right? Put that animal to rest for just a little bit before we can lose our minds over here. But yeah, we do have a 66.67% probability that we would reach this target up here, which is already really uncomfortable for me to even talk about, right? So I will go ahead and now present to you the shorter targets, right? Remember, we already kind of observed them using this right here, right? So $3 is, or $3.14 to the range of about, $3 to $3.15 would be the entire range here for the inverse head and shoulders. Now, we got to buy daily close, right? This is the close of the 2-day candle, and this is the close of the daily candle today. That usually means that we'll get a prior bar pullback. We spoke about that. That's going to be your 225 valuation, aka $2.24, not 618 of your golden mean of the golden pocket within the Fibonacci retracement and the Fibonacci extension tool, right? Very, very, very retracement tool, sorry. So very awesome that we can see confluence here. So as soon as we get this pullback here, I do think that we would find some demand. I would say roughly around that 224 to around 219. So if we're able, actually, you know what? Oh my goodness, man. If we were able to pair this with absolute price action instead of using the fib metrics, I would actually encourage using maybe this target here. It would be 224 to 221 on a pullback, right? Remember, price action is 227 right now from the 233 close from the high of today at 241. So it could definitely be of a higher probability here, right, you guys? So just know that I'm expecting a prior bar pullback using the buy daily and the daily, which are very much confluent to each other. Mind the 50% of your retracement area, right? So 222, well, 221, 22, and 24 could be that bounce target. And from there, guys, yeah, I mean, of course, we're going to see some resistance at the 0.786 at around $2.31 because it's 230, right? It's already one of those psychological targets. And of course, at the 1 fib at around 241, another psychological target, all good, right? So yeah, of course, we have to get those resistances out of the way in order for us to make the higher probability moves or the higher valuated moves, better said. But everything is good, team. Just go ahead and tune back in with me. And I will say that I will be observing FNGR here, even in the trading team. So make sure to hit those links to the left, right? They are going to expire here pretty soon. So make sure to hit them as they will actually give you the opportunity to join the trading team for a one-time fee, right? Trade alongside with me and other very, very, very good and talented traders. This is not an alerts-based system. This is something where we trade the financial markets completely at our discretion using our systems and using our abilities, right? So go ahead and do that. And I think this is a pretty good place to leave off the video. If any questions or concerns, you know where to reach me, right, team? I love you all, and we shall speak very, very soon. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Ever, 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 fucking ever. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well. A very, very good rest of your night and or day. And I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios, team.